I was hoping you'd come.
This year saw its share of heroes and villains through video games. We fought epic battles, took part in underground racing circuits, watched as Tony Hawk slipped further into mediocrity, and marveled at the levels of visual fidelity that the industry achieved. That being said, this year saw its fair share of assholes in games who managed the difficult feat of being hated for their behavior.
You're insolent because you believe I cannot afford to hurt you.
Let's take a look back at some of these classy individuals, shall we? Reyes, Dying Light. In a post-apocalyptic zombie-infested scenario, there will always be a few assholes who rise up and take advantage of the survivors. Kadir Suleiman, aka Reyes, is a special kind of jerk though. On top of hoarding antizin for himself and his crew of bandits, Reyes acts to preserve himself above everything else. He holds sway over the GRE through blackmail, but isn't afraid to cut a deal with them in order to save his own skin. If that weren't enough, Reyes goes to the extent of murdering Dr. Zir, kidnapping Jade, leading to her getting bitten, and attempting to flee Heron when it was marked for bombing. Arkham Knight, Batman Arkham Knight. Scarecrow may be the one manipulating and taunting us throughout Batman Arkham Knight, but it's the Arkham Knight himself who proves to be the biggest nuisance. First, there's the whole setting tanks and armies of mercenaries against Batman. Then the Knight has a hand in kidnapping Barbara Gordon and personally leads the charge in enveloping Gotham City in fear toxin, which eventually leads to the demise of Poison Ivy. Sure, he's had a hard life, Joker torturing him, making him feel Batman abandoned him, etc., but you'd think he'd be a little less of an asshole about it all. EMHYR, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The white flame dancing on the barrows of his enemies, or EMHYR, is mostly in the background during The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, but his overall behavior is anything but subtle. On top of invading the northern kingdoms and plunging the poor citizens into war, EMHYR also tasked Geralt with bringing him his daughter Ciri without fail. For those who haven't read the books, Geralt actually saved EMHYR's life at one point, helped in his marriage succeeding, and was promised Ciri in return. And after Geralt has protected and raised her, ultimately repelling the Wild Hunt in these efforts, EMHYR can think of nothing else but having Ciri as his successor. Konstantin, Rise of the Tomb Raider. We kind of feel bad for Konstantin, an operative of Trinity in Rise of the Tomb Raider who is doing his best to discover the divine source to save his sister. Of course, in the end, it seems his sister was manipulating him, but Konstantin's manic devotion to fulfilling God's will and his desire to murder at the drop of a hat with no empathy at all made him a serious thorn in Lara Croft's side. The fact that he tried to murder Jonah and succeeded in murdering several members of the Peaceful Remnant makes Konstantin one of the bigger assholes of the year. Unfortunately, he can't hold a candle to Skullface, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Where does one begin with Skullface? In Ground Zeroes, the prologue of Metal Gear Solid 5, he tortured and violated Paz before implanting bombs inside of her, attacked Mother Base, and put Big Boss into a coma for several years. In The Phantom Pain, not only does Skullface give the kill order when Big Boss is in the hospital, leading to the murder of several patients, staff, and even firefighters, but he has no qualms about a child piloting Metal Gear. Let's not even get started on his plot to commit selective genocide using parasites spread through the English language, going so far as to use children as his test subjects. As far as assholes go, in gaming and otherwise, Skullface is pretty hard to top. Which video game characters stood out for you with their assholish behavior? Let us know in the comments, and we'll catch you next time.